Born August 28, 1916 in Waco, Texas in the U.S., C. Wright Mills was a sociological writer and philosopher who wrote many books, but the most popular are known as White Collar, Power Elite, and the Sociological Imagination. These books focus on different views and ideas of people and society. He studied at the University of Texas at Austin in 1939, Texas A&M University, and later in 1939 to 1942 studied at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. He later on became a professor himself at Columbia University from 1946 until his death in 1962. His father, Charles Grover Mills, worked as an insurance broker, and his mother, Frances Wright Mills, worked as a housewife. He graduated from Dallas Technical High School in 1934. Mills was influenced heavily by pragmatism, especially the work of George Mead and John Dewey. The social structure aspects of Mills' work is largely shaped by Max Weber and the writing of Karl Mannheim, who followed Weber's work closely. He was also influenced a lot by Marxism. He believed and noted that Marxism had become an essential tool for all sociologists and was relevant for their studies. He was awarded with the Guggenheim Fellowship for Social Sciences, US and Canada, and died March 20th, 1962 in West Nyack, New York. Mills wrote The Power Elite in 1956. It was released as counterpart to his earlier work entitled White Collar. The book discusses how the wealthy are the most powerful and often occupy the most dominant positions of important institutions in society. They hold significant power over others, whether it be economically, politically, or militarily. Mills' theory stipulates that the average citizen is more or less helpless and powerless in the big picture because those who are in charge of making the decisions are looking out for their own interests. The book was criticized for being too pessimistic and was more of an angry cartoon than a serious picture. One of Mills' final books was The Sociological Imagination. Written in 1959, the book attempts to reconcile two very different concepts of social reality. These are the individual and society. In the book, Mills aggressively attacks and criticizes some of the most basic concepts of sociology. The sociological imagination is defined as the capacity to see how sociological situations play out to how people differ in terms of their places in social or historic circumstances. It's about thinking that things in society have led to certain outcomes and seeing what causes led to those. These outcomes are shaped by things including social norms, the social context they are in, country, and time period. Basically, it says that what we do and who we are is shaped because of the outcomes. The sociological imagination is to see things socially and how they interact with each other. To have a sociological imagination, an individual needs to be able to pull him or herself away from situations and be able to think from an alternate point of view.
C. Wright Mills' White Collar Theory is a study on the American middle class. It was published in 1951. The book and theory explains a new American class, the white-collar workers. It is also a major study of social alienation in the modern world of advanced capitalism, where the cities are controlled by a salesmanship mentality. The issues in this book were close to Mills' own background. His father was an insurance agent, and he himself at the time worked as a white-collar research worker in a bureaucratic organization at Paul Lazarfield's Bureau for Social Research at Columbia University. Mills said that the rise of white-collar work is rooted in occupational change due to recent work in bureaucracies, technological change, and the increasing need to market the industrial products of society. Characteristics for white-collar workers in the modern industrial societies are that they are unorganized and dependent upon the large bureaucracies for their existence. Mills believed that these characteristics shaped American life, and that by focusing on white-collar life, we can learn a lot about American character. Having so many jobs available to average-day white-collar workers installed even more of a hierarchy and superiority among the wealthy people, and more of a lower and middle class, especially middle class. The routinized white-collar worker is discouraged from using his own independent judgment. His decision-making is controlled by the strict rules which have been handed down to him by others. He then doesn't see his individual capacities and becomes alienated. His work becomes an enforced activity. Obviously, white-collar work has had a very deep effect on educational systems in bureaucratic industrial societies. Educational intelligence in the traditional sense has become penalized by white-collar work, where promotion is based on routine work and the following of bureaucratic rules made by others. As a result, Mills says that high schools and colleges have become like training grounds for the large bureaucracies of government and industries. The educational system has gone from educating to make good citizens to creating successful workers in a society of specialists.